Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 3rd, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing the best I can. We woke up today. The cold symptoms were even worse. I feel like I did the best I could to kind of just sleep as much as possible, like this throughout the night. But I finally woke up, around my alarm, and I was doing some heavy soul searching for about 30 minutes. I'm like, can you do this? Like, can you go? And I'm like, I probably could go. And then I just got up and I was just so achy and my head was hurting. And I was just like, look, I know I'm jammed up on PTO. I don't have much left. I know it's holiday pay for the weekend or whatever. So I'm jamming myself up if I call off. But I just don't have it in me. I just didn't. So we took the day. I've been sleeping as much as I can. I feel like I've taken at least 4 naps, maybe 3, 4 naps, something like that. I will say, well, did you go to the gym? Yes, I did. I did go. I initially was going to downscale things for today. I was just going to go out for a walk or something like that. But then I got a message that I didn't like. I know it's going to sound silly or trivial, but I got a message I didn't like, and it really upset me. And I was kind of getting worked up, and I was already not feeling well. The vibes were already off. And, I mean, I'll say it, like, sometimes I do like going to the gym just for, like, the therapeutic aspect of it. Like, you just get to work out energy, work off energy, so I said, you know what? Screw the walk. It's going to get hot anyway. Let's just go to the gym. At least I got AC and stuff. So we went, we got a pump. It was good. Overall, enjoyed the workout. Despite being sick, it wasn't too bad. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I can just kind of keep maintaining. Wrist hand update. We are doing pretty good. It feels pretty mobile. Still a little pain, but we're sitting at about a 1 to 2. So I'll take it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was having this thought. Like, I was like, man, I really couldn't win this week. Either it was going to be my wrist or I was going to have this cold. Like, there was going to be something that was going to jam up my week one way or another. It was inevitable. So, from June into July. So it goes. But I'm trying just to stay, positive, optimistic. It sucks to be sick, but you just got to make the most of your time. Watching a lot of live streams and stuff. We did go to the store. Yo, I've been to Kroger 2 times this week. I hate that. That's like some old me shit. I remember when I first started like living by myself. I had this weird habit of like going to Kroger like it was like a mall or something, and I was just hitting it up like multiple times in the week. And I'm like, dude, this is so silly. You don't need to be here this much. Like, get your groceries one time and don't come back till next week. But because obviously the situation, that's played out, makes sense why I had to go, earlier in the week, and then I had to get some supplies, just sick related stuff, cold stuff. So we got some soup. I got some more Advil. I got some Gatorade, stuff like that. Ooh, orange juice with lots of pulp, and some oranges, like stuff like that. So yeah, I think we're ready to ride out the weekend. Overall, in terms of colds, this isn't the worst cold I've experienced, so I guess we'll take that. But it's just like, I know how long it's gonna last. It's gonna be a while. I'm gonna be waking up and going to bed just feeling like the worst. So I'm not stoked. I'm not thrilled. I will say a bit of food corner. I made some that bulldog ramen with remaining beef that I had. Very good, very yummy. I enjoyed eating that last night. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a catch up on my day. That's pretty much where we're at right now. Let's go ahead and do the startup. Let's get into some news. Ooh. Now, this is news that's not on the docket, but it does look like the House did pass the big, beautiful, bodacious bill. So I imagine that's going to be moving back up and eventually going to get signed probably by tomorrow. It looks like Trump's going to get his damn wish on that one. So yay, love that. It's going to be so good for America. Ugh. Anyway, we're not starting in America. We're starting in Thailand. From the Associated Press, Thailand swears in new cabinet, including suspended prime minister. Thailand swore in new cabinet members Thursday with its government in flux after the Constitutional Court suspended the prime minister less than a year after the same court removed her predecessor. Pengton Shinawatra, who was suspended as prime minister while under an ethics investigation for a conversation with a senior Cambodian leader, returned to cabinet as culture minister. So, I mean, essentially, she was sidelined from being prime minister. It looks like that's not going to be a thing she's coming back to, but at least, she's going to be, part of the vibes in the cabinet. So good for her. But, we got more to get through to kind of explain what's been going on here. The top job was filled by Phuntham Weechai. I know I'm fucking that up. A longtime ally of Pengaton's father, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. Phuntham served under Pengaton as Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister. He was sworn in Thursday as Deputy Prime Minister and Interior Minister. Now, the situation at hand that got Pengaton, in hot water. Pengaton has faced growing dissatisfaction over a handling of a border dispute with Cambodia, including an armed confrontation in May in which a Cambodian soldier was killed. In a leaked phone call with Cambodian Senate President Hun Sen, she attempted to diffuse tensions, but instead set off a string of complaints and public protests. Critics said she went too far in appeasing Hun Sen and damaged Thailand's image and interests. So I think she had said something. There was two big factors that I pulled from this conversation that were really bad for her. One was she was shit talking the military, the Thailand military, something she had to come out to and apologize with them in the background. So that's awkward. That's not something that people liked at all. And then also a thing that maybe it's just a cultural miss for me, and I'm not maybe seeing it, but people were really upset that she was so cordial to President Hun Sen. I think they actually do have a background, her parents knew him, their families know each other and stuff. And essentially she used a differential term to him. She called him uncle on the call, and people were really upset about that. And to me, I'm I don't really see the problem with that. Okay, so they were she was really close, and she was kind of confiding in him. It almost seems really fucked up that she was this casual about it, and then it just gets flipped on her. But I from what I've heard, this Hun Sen guy is a very politically wily guy, tactful guy. And I imagine he said, okay, cool talk, but I'm definitely using this against you guys to sow some discord, some chaos. I don't know. But yeah, apparently that worked the way that it was planned from the leaked phone call, because she got removed and now there's a new person in power. But I guess it kind of goes to show this ongoing thing of how the military, how the court really is running the show, I guess you could say. They seem to be the two branches in power, or the most power, and they tend to exert it how they feel, how they deem, and the executive kind of just has to live with it, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's just kind of the way things are going right now in Thailand. But either way, I thought this was an interesting story to kind of start us off with. Let's go ahead and move on to Indonesia, from the Associated Press. Indonesia rescuers searching for 29 people after ferry sinks near Bali. Now, I believe the number has been updated to 30. Indonesian rescuers were searching for 29 people who remained missing Thursday after a ferry sank and 6 people died the previous night near Indonesia's resort island of Bali. A 3-year-old boy and his mother were the most recent victims whose bodies were recovered on Thursday afternoon. The 6 bodies located by rescuers will be taken to their families in Banyuwangi, officials said. as of Thursday, 30 people had been rescued from the ferry's 53 passengers and 12 crew members. Muhammad Saifi, head of Indonesia's National Search and Rescue Agency, told Metro TV. Let's see here. They kind of just have more details about the rescue situation at hand. Something that really was just like, damn, like just kind of fucked me up to hear. Um, let's see. The condition of the ship is fully submerged, so there's a possibility that there are people inside the ferry. But right now, we are focusing on the surface of the water first. Surabaya search and rescue head Nanang Sijit said. So that was, I'm thinking, damn. So there might be people who are still in the ferry underwater, hopefully hanging out in an air pocket or something, trying to, to stay alive long enough. And I mean, who knows if they're gonna, be rescued, like something like that. Like, I don't know why that really drove me to the center of this piece, and I was just like kind of sitting with that the whole time. Um, Definitely a very harrowing situation, very sad. You're supposed to be coming off of like a resort situation, right? And the next thing you know, you're in the water and you're fighting for your life. So definitely a scary, harrowing situation. My condolences to the people who had to go through all this shit, people who lost their lives. Hopefully they can rescue more people. And if I get any more details, we'll be back to this story. All right, our next story comes from Amnesty International. A bit of a different setup. It was harder to find like a normal article about this for some reason, but we'll just kind of read the headline and then actually jump to the bottom. Zimbabwe arbitrary detention of journalist and assault on freedom of expression. So then the other background of the story. Faith Zaba was arrested on July 1st and detained in Harare on allegations of undermining the authority of or insulting the president. According to our lawyer, Chris Mihiki, excuse me, the charges relates to a satirical article published in the weekly's Muckraker column last Friday. Her bail application has been postponed to the 3rd of July, pending a review of her medical record due to her ill health. Zaba's arrest comes after the recent arrest and lengthy detention of another journalist of the same outlet, Alpha Media's head of news at HSTV, Bless Malenga, who spent 72 days in pretrial detention. So I don't think we covered the previous detention in Zimbabwe. Look, I mean, this is kind of a bit timely just because we talked about the situation in Turkey with a journalist getting arrested for a satirical piece. I would definitely say this is of a different stripe. We're talking just straight up politics here. We're not talking any religion. Muhammad's not involved. We're talking a president not being able to take any kind of criticism. And essentially they have a law where they're like, well, we can stop you from doing that. We can jam you up. We can arrest you. And that's fucked up. That's crazy that there are places in the world where you just can't even like fucking talk your shit. And hey, that as an American, that fucks me up. That's a bummer. And it bums me up. It bums me even more is because I know the administration that I live under, and it just feels like it's only going to be a matter of time before that happens. Maybe I'm being a little doomer in that regard, but like it definitely seems like, hey, a person like Trump would go out of his way to either throw you in jail or kick you out of the country just for saying or doing something he doesn't like, And I think our leaders should not have that kind of power. They should be working for us. If anything, they should be working under us. Like, you know what I mean? So it's wild that you can't have a journalist, like once again, talk a little shit, put up a little satirical thing. Like that would be like coming busting into the Onion and like arresting the editor. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. It's just wild to me, man. We shouldn't be living in times like that right now. But hey, that is the state of the world. Anyway, we're gonna close it out with some blueberries. Sadly, not good blueberries. Bad blueberries. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll close it out. Actually, before we get into this, tell you a little pastime I've been kind of watching throughout the week. Like I said, a lot of live streams is usually what I like to watch. I've been watching a lot of people play Peak. It is this game where I think it's either 1 to 5 people can play, and essentially it's you and your friends or your group, whatever, and you're supposed to be like scaling this like mountain together essentially. And it's like this, you can go about it all kinds of ways. There's different ways to go about it. You can get random items and all this kind of stuff. It's a very cute game. It's very fun to watch. It's nice just to kind of have like in the background. So yeah, that's been a thing that I've been enjoying. Also, everyone keeps telling me I need to watch Love Island. That's been like very trending lately, like since June or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I could be. I love watching junk. I love watching reality TV. I think it's fun. I just don't have any like good networks. I mean, maybe I could watch it on like Hulu with the commercials. Ugh, I don't know. Maybe if that's even on there. But yeah. Anyway, a little TV talk there. I haven't talked TV and games in a while. Anyway. From USA Today, 12,000 pounds of blueberries recalled over listeria risk. Listeria. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, has classified a recent blueberry recall as the highest risk for potential listeria contamination. On July 1st, the FDA issued a Class 1 grade for a recall of 12,000 pounds of organic blueberries produced by Almapac International in Atlanta, Georgia. The recall was initiated on June 9th after routine testing of the facility found positive results of listeria. A Class 1 recall is a situation in which there is a reasonable probability that the use of or exposure to a volatile product will cause serious adverse health consequences or death, the FDA site states. The recalled blueberries were shipped to one customer in North Carolina, according to the FDA. They give a lot code of the blueberries. Obviously, if you have bought any of these kind of blueberries, you're worried about it, just toss them out. Just get rid of them. You got that old receipt. You maybe go take it up to your retailer, your store, whatever, and you say, hey, I don't want to have bad poo-poo diarrhea blueberries, so let's swap these out or something, please. And hopefully they do that. They go through the details of listeria. We're not going to go through that again, at least for right now. We don't need a refresher. But you can always Google that and get grossed out. It's also funny when you're sick and you're eating these kind of things. You're like, damn, I have like half of these things right now. And it's like, no, I don't have listeria. I just have a cold. Don't be a hypochondriac, Isaiah. Don't be a worry ward. Anyway, that is going to be the episode for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Hit that like button. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Whatever platform you're on, I'm probably there just waiting for you. That's really it. That's all I got. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.